What's up, y'all? What's good? Welcome to the What Up Though Show. It's your boy Dame D, and I am back with another one. Today I'm going to be joined with a couple of guests. Today I'll go ahead and allow my guests to introduce themselves for the show. Starting off with the guy on top.
What up, though? It's your boy E Skeezy.
Go ahead and introduce yourself, big guy.
This is Big Hen from the 313. What up, though?
Okay, there we go. First and foremost, I want to welcome both of you guys to the show today. We're going to be chopping it up. We're going to be talking about health and longevity. First and foremost, I want to thank everyone who sent out prayers. I want to thank everyone who commented. Today I had a procedure done. Today, and we're going to start with that. Health and longevity. Big Hen, what's on your mind before we start today's show? How your day been going, man?
Man, I can't complain. Fighting a little stomach virus, but that's all. Ain't nothing I ain't never been through before. I get over it.
Okay.
Yep.
That's what's up. East Skeezy. How's your day been going? Okay, well, East Skeezy got us muted right now, but yeah, man, so far today, man, I've had an eventful day today. I had a procedure done. And Big Hen, you had this procedure done about 35 years ago. How ironic, that 35 to 40 years later, I will be having the same procedure done. You know what I mean? So we're going to talk a little bit about health and longevity. This was a procedure that I did not have to have done. The procedure I had done, I had my parotid gland moved. And basically what the parotid gland is, it's a spit gland. Everyone, can you guys hear me clearly?
Yeah.
Okay, because I still can't hear out of my left ear, and that's the side that I got the surgery done on. So it sounded a little weird to me, but yeah, a parotid gland is basically nothing more. We all have them. It's a spit gland that brings saliva, into your mouth. And I had noticed some years ago that I'm not gonna say it started bulging out, but it had got inflamed, and off and on it'll inflame itself and then it'll go down, So I get advice from, I'm not gonna say advice, but my sister, and I made a promise to her that I would go get it checked out, and to myself, and I just recently had a son 3 years ago, and I spoke with my doctor about this situation, and I told him, said, I got a few things that I want to get checked out, because I want to be able to live for at least another 30 to 40 years if possible, So I just been in the process of trying to get everything that may cause a problem or may be wrong, just trying to get everything checked out, So really it was just, just trying to stay ahead of something before, it could have it could have got bad, because the parotid gland is something, like I said, everyone has, and it's, something that everyone used, but mine was it wasn't even a parotid gland that was inflamed. It was a benign tumor. I had a biopsy done, and it came back a benign tumor that I guess grew on top of the parotid gland or on the parotid gland. So my surgeon, he advised for me to get it removed, and that's what I did today. So going back to 35, 40 years ago, Big Hen, and I'll get off into a little bit more why I had it removed, but going back to about 40 years ago, you had the same procedure. So give me your thoughts, give me your opinion on, and you were young at that time, but, give me your thoughts and your opinion on what, on your surgery situation. How did it change your life? Or what made you get that, taken care of or had surgery on that, I should say.
What's crazy is, like you said, it happened over 30-some years ago, closer to 40, because I'm 50. So it happened when I was about 12 years old. I'm 52 now. It's crazy that you just had basically the same surgery, a little bit further up under my chin. Yours is a little bit closer to your ear, but it's the same thing. And the reason that I had it removed is because when I was a kid, I turned my neck and I seen it sticking out, and I wanted to know what that was. And I remember saying it to mama, and she took me to the doctor, and they wanted to remove it. And I remember
Right.
as a kid going to have surgery, and you was crying like, "No, what's wrong with my brother?" I'm like, I'm good. Hopefully, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? And
I remember that day to this day. You know, I still remember
yeah,
that.
so I prayed for you last night. I'm like, he'll be all right. You don't have the same surgery I had to have when I was 12 years old, but it's crazy. You know, we still love each other. So, you know, before I went to bed last night, I'm gonna say a prayer for my brother. He finna have his surgery. But any surgery that you get cut on is serious. You know what I'm saying? So
buddy.
Yeah, but go ahead,
yeah, bro,
Easkeezy.
it's deep.
You can add on and say add your piece on or give
that.
us an example, you know, of health and longevity that you may have experienced or went through, Easkeezy.
Well, before I talk about my health and longevity, I just had a few questions. I don't know if you asked the doctor. Do that affect your saliva now? Like,
Yeah, you know what, E? That's
dry
crazy.
mouth
You
or
just
nothing like
asked that.
that?
That's crazy, D.
Well, I'll let Big Ken answer that first, and I'll answer a second.
I mean, when you said something about the spit gland and stuff like that, I see. I was so young when it happened to me, D. You got a lot more information than I can remember, and that's basically what it had to be the same thing with me. So, what side effect? I guess that's the same question E trying to say. Did they say it was going to be any side effects, or you know? I don't remember none.
If you can't answer it, I can answer. Okay, so basically, no, it won't be any side effects because it was actually a tumor that they were cutting out of the parotid gland.
Right.
So I still have my parotid gland. So I've been trying to see if it affected my spit gland, because you know how you can test, you know how when you do your tongue in some type of way and the saliva comes out of your from up under your tongue. I don't have dryness of mouth, I should say. Even before the surgery and even after, my mouth is still pretty much moist. You know, so I would say right now, Easkeezy, I would say no. I don't have any effects. You know, I'm maybe 5. Well, I had the surgery at they started at 7 this morning, so I'm probably about 10 hours maybe out of the surgery. You know, if anything, my throat is a little groggy and sore from they had to put tubes and stuff down my throat for me to be able to breathe while I was asleep. So other than that, you know, I don't think, no, I'll say no. I don't have any problems with a dry mouth or being able to spit thus far.
Okay.
I mean, my thing is we got a lot of things that make up the human body, and some parts we could live without. You know, you could live without a testicle, a kidney. You know.
See, and that's great. And not to cut you off, Easkeezy, that's crazy that you said that, because these were the questions that I was asking myself before the surgery. I'm like, damn, you know, I'm getting ready to get something cut out of me that was actually that I'm actually going to need. That was in my body that the Lord put here for a reason. You know, and those were the questions that I asked. Those were the questions that I had to ask my surgeon today. You know, and I asked him, Easkeezy, and I'll be honest, you know, because it was a lot that came with this surgery, Big Ken, that you probably don't remember. Some of the things that may come with this surgery, I can lose the feeling in my left ear because they had to cut nerves to get to the parotid gland. You know, so I'm praying that, you know,
one day
I have full recovery with my senses on my ear and stuff like that, you know, with the nerves in my ear, you know, and then it was something else. Okay, yeah, it was just a nerve damage, and just like your feeling sensation by your ear, you know, which I feel that right now, you know, but hopefully after everything heals up, it'll go back to normal. You know, and my question to you, Big Ken, do you have any numbness or anything on by your face where you had surgery at?
Well, it's a whole nother story, D. You know, I don't have 2 surgeries on my face. That's why one day we're gonna have to have a serious conversation about the other surgery that I had. It's going to take more than, a half an hour or so to talk about it, but we can get on that one day. But yeah, I still feel numbness where I had surgery on the other side where they took a bone from my leg and put it in my jaw. Like I said, we had to talk about that a whole nother time. I still can't feel nothing. This side is fine where you had your surgery at, but the other side, where I had the other surgery at, they told me that I wasn't going to be, it'll be like numbness to a lot. It ain't numb. I can still feel stuff over there, but it's not the same. Once you get cut on, you ain't going to, you ain't had a surgery, no bone and none removed. So they just remove like some flesh from you. So it's different. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But yeah, I could honestly say it's a difference, from the surgery that I had. But the surgery that you had when I was a kid, I don't really remember that. I just remember that I was down and real drowsy for that whole day. And the next day as a kid, I believe I bounced right back.
Yeah, and that's how I felt, man. Look, it took me 2 hours, and this was an outpatient surgery. It took
Yeah.
me 2 hours to be able to recover from this. Far as just trying to wake up.
Yeah.
So that I tell you what, that anesthesia is not no joke. I guess good rest today with that, some well needed rest. But East Keezy,
Yeah.
I'll go ahead allow you to, to add on and give us a testimony or just talk about health and longevity. This is something that, that we've talked about here on the What Up Though show, and this is something that everyone needs to, have a talk with themselves, with their family members.
And I ain't trying to cut you off, bro, but not only that, there's your family history because you literally just had the same surgery that I had 40 years ago, bro. This is it's tripping me out. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to know your family history. And I can't say why it happened to the both of us. It was just something that obviously was gonna happen. It happened to me first.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And let me say this. And I actually, and these were some of the questions that I asked the surgeon today. I said, you know what? I said, what if I decide not to go ahead and get this done? He told me,
what's the worst that could happen?
I'm about
Cancer.
to tell you. He said within 10 years,
it turns to
can
cancer.
turn cancerous, and then within 10 years, it'll be a 55% rate that it was something that they was not going to be able to operate or remove if I would have let it go. So it basically
that's like I said.
It would have took my life if I wouldn't have had it removed.
Same thing with the other side of my jaw, D.
Yeah, no, it would have. It probably would have turned cancerous, and then it probably would have started eating away, at everything else beside it.
That's crazy, bro. Me and you, one day we're gonna have to talk because that's the reason that I had surgery on the other side because I had a ghost tumor and it ate away at my jawbone. They told me I had no other option but to either get a steel jaw or remove a bone from my leg to put in my jaw. It would heal better. So that's what I did. But
you did
that's
the right
crazy.
thing. Yeah, you did the right thing because once he took, because listen, I'm gonna tell you guys this. Once he got to talking about the nerve damage and things that I may have from them cutting me, because they had to cut through the nerves where the gland was, to get to it, but once I asked him what would happen if I did not go with the surgery, he gave me a synopsis of 10 years. He said, if you were not to go, he said, okay, just say for instance, if you was to let it go until you were 60 and then it turned into a problem, he said it would have been a 55% chance that there was nothing that they can do.
Other than what they did to me. Yeah,
it would have spread it to other areas. So, once he said that,
have you ever been to work? Have you ever been at work all day or whatever, and you get home and you remember you forgot to do something at work, or you forgot to put something up, or you know what I mean? I only say that to say it's a lot of doctors that
hold the phone down,
wrong, but they won't tell us. They won't tell us that they wrong. They'll think about it amongst themselves while they in the shower or something. You know, that's why if I go to the doctor, if one doctor tell me something, just like I do my mechanics, I go get a second opinion. You know, and if they matching up saying the same thing, I'll see, okay, well, it must be some sincereness to what he's saying. You know, but just like mechanics as well, doctors get paid off of what they can do to you and what they could prescribe to you. You know, if they give you a good bill of health and say, oh, this will be fine, you know, uh you can live with that, then he don't make money for his loft and his yacht and his old lady and his side chick. But if he see somebody got a good bill of health, it's just as easy as a doctor can diagnose somebody perfectly healthy with cancer. And they know that word will strike fear in them, and they gonna have whatever procedure that the doctors say is recommended. Now, it might cost you maybe
And
a hundred to
I
hundred and
agree
fifty
with you,
dollars for
Skeezy.
the
I agree with you
checkup.
to a certain extent, you know. But if it's an
Yeah,
issue that
not
you brought
pertaining
to the
to you.
doctor, you know,
I feel you, but
but
this
some,
is what I'm
and I agree
saying.
with you
This is what I'm
100%.
getting
But
to.
sometimes our people, you know, uh, it's always best to have a second opinion. You know, I had a second opinion. I had my second opinion was was having a biopsy done. You know, and that
Right.
came back
That's what
that,
my
you know, I
that's
was
the same
clean
thing with me.
bill of health,
Yeah.
but to keep it in there and to let it stay in there, and you knowing that it's a tumor, you know, that's you not being doing the responsible thing as, you know, as looking over your health, you know, letting something that's growing that's not in there, you know. So I agree with you, E, but I'll disagree with you on that part. You know, sometimes you
What
have
if
to
you could
take
have lived with it
sometimes you have to take
40 more
some
years?
right, I agree, but sometimes you have to take your doctor's knowledge and experience, you know, and trust in the Lord, you know, and go with that, you know, because like I said, you know, this is something that my brother had, you know, and I developed it, you know, and like I said, I want to live a long life, you know, and I want to continue living a long, healthy life. So, but yeah, you know, it's always great to having a second opinion. You know, you can't go with the first opinion, you know, because doctors can be wrong. You know, they do have to make a living on doing surgeries and things like that, you know, but you know, I came to them, you know, with this issue, and they gave me their best analogy and best option of me trying to live a longer and healthy life.
Yeah, see, they
Maybe
gave
the
me.
most expensive one as well. Not to say they did or didn't, but and I'm not even talking about your procedure, but I know a coworker that I was actually painting with was perfectly fine. Went to the doctor because of a little cough or something, and they never made it out the hospital. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
fine
you hear
one
about that
week.
all the time.
I
Man.
know
You
people.
know what?
Listen,
I know
I'm a
people that
knock
was
on wood.
healthy, went and got vaccines, and then
I'm
months later they got diagnosed with cancer, breast cancer, or either throat cancer or something like that. Like if you look on their wall, it always say a license to practice. Now tell me why you go to school for 12 years, graduate, get your degree, come out here, get you an office, and you still practicing. After 12
what
years, you should be a
what what
professional in something.
I mean, the whole thing
you
about
got to look at
that
it.
field,
They practicing
right? Their whole
they're
life,
practicing a profession, but
their whole life, they
the
never
procedure
stop
Hey,
that
I
they
don't
learning.
want
do.
them practicing on
Hold on,
me.
hold on.
You
But just
come
let me
back
say
to me
this: they
after you done
practicing.
had.
It's a procedure that they're practicing. It's called practicing. You know, that's what it's called. You know, but they're professionals because they do multiple of these same procedures.
Practices,
You know, which makes them,
right?
if you do something for more than I believe it's 40,000 hours, it makes you a professional at it. You know, so most doctors who perform surgeries have the hours that they need to be called, what you said, a professional at what they're do. You know, meaning that they've
Well,
done
you
multiple surgeries of what they're doing. You know, that would make them a professional. You know, so go ahead,
you
Skeezy.
practice on your jump shot. You practice on your uppercuts and boxing skills. You don't practice on Easy, is all I'm saying. You got to know what you're talking about.
No,
When
I
you
mean,
come
you
trying to
when you
stick
go
me
to
up under the
the,
needle.
I mean, when you go to the dentist, they still practicing on you.
Right. You never stop learning. So they always in
It's
school to
always
learn.
right. Anytime,
It's just
exactly.
like,
You just
it was the
let me get this.
VCR. You had the DVD. Now you don't have none
It's
of that.
always going
Everything
to
is
be.
just,
Listen, when
it's
you're in a
always going to be something different.
where you're in a profession where you're going to school, you're always going to be learning and practicing things. That's just
Okay,
the nature
so
of how they
do that
have to call it. But at the end of the day,
do that
man,
sound better to you? If a doctor
no,
come to you and
listen,
say,
and listen,
I think
in
you
my
need surgery,
situation,
let
I
me
would rather for
practice
them to
on you.
practice on getting that up out of me versus keeping it in there and then it being another practice 10 years later.
I hear you.
Yeah, so sometimes, man, hey, listen, you have to. Sometimes you have to have faith. Trust me, I did not want to have surgery. I did not want to get
That's
cut on.
first.
But I thought about my family. Sometimes you have to think about your family. Over yourself. And I put I thought about my family. Yeah, but no, man, I don't disagree. I agree with you, because you have some doctors that have lied and told people that they have cancer, and they did chemo treatments and everything on them, and they found out to not
And
even have cancer.
after
So but yeah, you have
they get paid enough from the therapy. Get paid
what you
enough
say,
for the
Steve?
chemotherapy. That's when they come back and after you get paid for the chemotherapy for telling you had cancer and didn't have it. After a few sessions where they done ran up $100,000 through Medicaid or your insurance company, then they come back and say, "Oh, you beat it. You cancer free." Yeah, I was cancer free when you told me I had cancer. But hey, who gonna go behind the doctor and say, "Hey, I didn't even have cancer," and he said I had cancer. Then when they check you for
Yeah,
cancer, they gonna be like, "No, you ain't had cancer. Chemo must
yeah.
have worked."
So,
Oh, he
but
just said
yeah,
I
man,
had cancer and never
that
had cancer.
right. Well, look, those things does go on, East Keezy. But look, I would never want to put that on. And things like that. You're gonna shit like that is always gonna happen. You have good people, you have evil people, but I wouldn't want to scare people away from trying to be healthy and live a longevity life. You know what I
This is
mean?
what I
So
got.
sometimes, man, you have to accept what's going to happen, and go by faith. You're a man of faith, so I don't have to preach that to
Yeah,
you,
that's
East
why I
Easy. Sometimes
started
you
by
have to
saying
allow,
always get a
your
second
your faith
opinion.
and God, and then put yourself and family first, and then the other stuff, man, you just got to put that behind you, because all doctors are not there to. Most doctors are there to try to help you. I understand what you're saying, that you do have doctors that that purposely schedule people for surgeries and things like that they don't need.
It is
But
not necessary. And if that's the case,
right.
then bless their soul.
Yeah,
Because
they having
before
those.
let me say this to you, E. Before I go see the doctor for a visit or surgery or anything, I pray for me and that doctor. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the real truth right there
Right.
about the whole nutshell, because I pray that God touch this doctor's throat for what he finna tell me, because this is my life. I pray for his hands because he's finna touch me. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Yeah.
Right.
if you going to see a doctor and
Right.
this is your primary tell you, Emmanuel, you have something on you, man, that you got to address. You don't have to, and you can go get a second opinion. But I'm your primary.
Right.
I've been dealing with you for the last 5 to 10 years. If you don't get this cut off for you
Right.
in 10 years, it could be an issue. So
Not an issue.
you have
It
Right.
can cost you your
it could,
life.
yeah, your life issue. So in those type of situations, I would suggest that if you trust your primary, some people don't trust their primary. If your primary look you like my primary, I got a young primary. He looked me in my eye and he keep it 1,000 with me. Now, if I sense that it like you said, it's something in you that you can get a doctor and he just don't seem right.
Right.
But
Right.
for the most part, in my life, I don't live to be 52 years old, and I hope I get another 50. You know what I'm saying? But you surgeries, you know, you don't want to have them. I'm like you. It's like I'm supposed to have a surgery on my ankle, and I don't want to have it. I told the doctor, like, listen, I don't like to be cut on, but hey, to live longer, you do what you have to do, like my brother said, or not even just to live longer, a better quality of life. That means
Yeah, because
everything.
I'm gonna say this to you, E. I'm gonna say this, E. And before I say this, you know, I had a conversation with my surgeon right then and there. You know, he was honest to me. He said, when the beat listen, they could have been dishonest when they took the what do you call that? The biopsy. They could have said it was cancerous, you know, and they could have performed a procedure that I did not need, you know.
Right.
But he was honest from the beginning, you know, and he was even honest today, you know, because I thought about canceling the surgery today, you know, when they were talking about the nerve damage and me not having feeling, you know, certain parts on the side of my face, you know. But once he talked to me about the longevity of keeping this tumor inside of me, the complications that I can have, you know, that overweighed anything else.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So sometimes, man, you have to have faith because we can't allow, you know, some doctors that may have done wrong things to over
their patients,
overbear us going to, you know, make sure that we're healthy and we have longevity. You know, so I advise everyone, you know, to make sure that you go see your doctor, get a checkup, you know, especially if you want to live a long life, you know, because at the end of the day, you know, I didn't want to have surgery on this hand right here that was broken, you know, but did I want to have full use of my hand? Yes, you know, so I had to get it repaired.
Yeah.
Yep. So, you know, so yeah, man, you know, sometimes it can be a blessing and a curse, you know. It definitely has been a, you know, a curse. Well, I'm not going to say a curse, but it definitely has been a, you know, not a good experience for some people who had bad doctors, you know. But you know, you just have to have faith, you know. And I said prayer with family and friends last night and this morning, and you know, I overlooked any negativity that, you know, may have come with that, you know. So and that's it, man. You know, sometimes you just gotta trust in God. That's it.
Well, to clear the air, everybody that know me and to those who don't, they know I'm a comedian. Yeah, I joke a lot. And when you play this back, you'll see my first words was to always get a second opinion. All doctors aren't crooked, just like all mechanics aren't. But
Right.
you'll be naive to believe that there's no doctors out here misusing their power and authority, and they took an oath and they're doing things for financial gains. But your second opinion will be your best bet. And always have faith in surgeries and checkups, no matter what it is, because the doctor could say one thing, but God will always have the last say. I know people that's been healed from HIV, cancer, and many more illnesses, you know, and the doctor can only go so far, but God could go internal, you know. He
Yeah,
could go deeper
I
than the
agree.
doctor. He could heal you before you get to the doctor. According to your faith, be it unto you. But like Big Hen said, when you go to the doctor, you do need to pray for more than yourself. Pray for that doctor, you know,
Right.
that God will lead and guide them. And you know, far as a crooked doctor, you'll never know. You know, ain't no doctor finna tell on another doctor. Just like judges, they stick together like cops. You know, just get your second opinion. Don't have
Right.
nobody practicing on you, and you feel fine. You know.
Right. And I agree
Cause
with you.
the
You
body is
always
not meant to.
want to get a second opinion. You know, and for the doctors that are out here doing evil and cruel things to people, you know, God Himself will bring them to fruition. You know, and
Yeah.
show. You know, most of them. You know, will get what's coming to them and will be brought to the forefront. You know, but for the most part, man, you know, today we're talking about health and longevity. You know, I advise everyone who has any issues, you know, because like this, Easkies, I could have prayed. I actually did pray to God. You know, I waited for about a year or two before I actually went to go get this checked out. You know, I asked Lord, I prayed about it, you know, I asked him to heal it, you know, and sometimes, you know, you have to take things into your own hand, you know what I mean? And I did that, you know, he didn't, I'm not going to say he didn't do what he needed to do, but he put in me that I needed to go see a doctor. You know what I mean? And that's what he did. I prayed to him about it, and he sent me you know, in a different direction to get help. He helped me where he couldn't help me. So he sent me to get help.
Faith without works is dead. Faith without works is dead. So after you prayed, it was still some things you had to do. You're absolutely correct. You know, and longevity, that's something to think about as well, because I don't even know what time I want to go if it's up to me. You know, and if it was up to all of us, when we leave, I'm sure everybody would pick 120 or something like that. But I don't want to be to the point where I can't move around, and I got to depend on other people to take care of me. I felt
See,
sorry
that's what
for
I
how my
tell.
mom's
That's
went up out of here. You know, I felt like that was prison for her, to be somewhere you don't want to be and can't leave when you want to leave just because you of age, and then dementia or Alzheimer's creep in. I feel like whenever you go, hey, that's your time to go. It's already written. We could procrastinate, and we could take ourselves out of here earlier, but going to the doctor is a part of longevity, you know, to check on your
that
health.
part.
And now
That part.
they got so much technical stuff. You could keep up with your health as well. They got
Yeah.
Apple Watches, they got sensors you
Right.
could put in your commode that will monitor your species and tell
Right.
you if your cholesterol high, if you dehydrated, all of this stuff. So I mean, if you want to be here for a long time, stick around. They making plenty of things to help you do that. You know, you got to start
Yeah.
with
You know,
eating right,
and
exercising.
it's up to us
Your
to be
body
able to take heed to these things by eating right, trying to live right, making sure that you go get your checkups. You know, most of
I
us,
mean, this what I want to say, not to cut you off, D.
most of us do not get our yearly annual checkups. We wait until there's a problem, you know, before we get seen. You know, so I advise everybody who may have even if you think it's something that may not be, you know, a major problem or something that needs to be looked at, you know, go get yourself checked out. Go get your annual checkup. You know, most men go without getting a prostate, and that's something that I have set up next, to get my prostate and my what's the other one set up.
Colonoscopy.
You know, yeah, the colonoscopy. So these are things that that plague the African American men. You know, so we have to stay ahead of these things. We have to get things checked. You know, and stay on top of things like that if we want to live a long life. You know what I mean? So we have to be active in seeing our doctor. We have to be active in watching what we eat. You know, we have to be active in what we're putting inside of our bodies. You know, everything.
That's true, man. That's what I wanted to say is that unforeseen occurrences. I don't care how many times you go see the doctor. Unforeseen occurrences happen to us all. So,
Right.
the best thing to do is, you know, get you a good primary doctor that you trust, because you know if he care about you, he gonna tell you. Like most of my friends, I'm 52. Most of my friends that's older than me, they doctors is their best friend, because he kind of helping you live.
Right.
So
And then not only
y'all
that, you
develop
know,
a relationship over the years. I've been with my primary, not this one, but the one before. I got a good relationship with this one. I've had him for 3, but I had the one before that 7, and he's his understudy.
right.
So
Yeah.
he was preferred, you know, once my primary went back to doing what he was doing in Canada, his understudy took his practice, and he's just as good as my doc. So I really believe, dog, that you have to pray you know, because the doctors, I'm gonna tell you what I learned from going to see the doctors most of the years. When you walk into the office, they ask you how you doing, and then when you tell them what you there for, they get on the computer and they'll say, well, this is what I'm prescribed for that or X, Y, and Z. So, you know, yeah, they go to school, but they can only, I guess what I'm trying to say is you have to let them know what you're going through so they can get to the bottom of it. Because if you act like you fine, they gonna act like you fine.
Yeah.
If you
and
go in
then
there and you
I
tell
agree with
them,
you 100%, Big Ken. And then and to address what E Skeezy was saying earlier too, man, you have to do your research on your doctors and your surgeon. You know, because this procedure that I was having, I looked up my doctor. He performed multiple thousands of these procedures a year. You know, so
the
this
last,
practice, he's
yeah,
a professional at this practice.
yeah, the last surgery I had, he's the best at it. When I had it, I didn't want to have a surgery because they was talking about taking the bone from my leg and putting it in my
Yeah,
jaw because,
put your phone down, Big Ken, so we can see
oh,
your
I'm sorry.
face. There we
They
go.
was, yeah, I had a surgery on this side and over here, Dr. Ramirez, you can look him up when y'all get off the phone with me. Dr. Ramirez, the best surgeon as far as what he do and reconstructive surgery. The surgery that I had, literally, I thought that my face was gonna be disfigured because they took a whole bone, I'm gonna say over close to 10, over 10 inches of my mouth, a bone from my leg and put it in my jaw. So I had to pray on this and trust this doctor. You know what I'm saying? And people that see me ain't seen me in a long time. They wouldn't even know unless they see the incision on my neck. That's how good this doctor is. And I prayed on it. So
That's why I was telling you to
again,
hold the phone down because you're showing your
oh yeah, I'm
incision.
sorry. Okay. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see it?
Well, when you had the phone up, we were able to see both of them clearly.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I was telling you to put the phone down if you didn't want people to see your incisions.
No, it's fine. We
Okay.
talking about it, bro. It ain't, you know, it ain't no big deal. I done been cut on both necks. When people see me, they really be like, boy, what happened to you? But
Right.
I'm gonna tell you what happened to me. God is good. I'm still here.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
hey,
because
E,
listen,
I ain't even no
because
comedian,
listen,
E.
if you didn't
And
have that first cut,
I can tell you that.
because let me say this to you, Big Ken, you might have not been here if you wouldn't have had that parotid gland taken out over 4 years ago.
Man. Yeah. Yes, bro. And then I end up
Because
having
what that would
surgery.
have done, it would start eating at the rest of the things that's inside of your neck and your head.
Yeah, see, you know, it's deep. We having this conversation. I'm like you, D. I hope I get another 20 years, but you know, YouTube is informative. This right here is gonna help somebody because somebody
Yeah,
gonna go get checked. Somebody
and
going to
listen,
get a
and this is
physical
why I
tomorrow.
wanted to do this show. Normally, I'm secretive
Oh,
I'm secretive with my personal life, you know. But
Correct.
I want to set an example for those up under me, you know, and not even up under me, you know, those that may be older than me, you know, because we have a lot of older men that's still scared to go to the doctor and get checkups. You know, I'm gonna be honest. I once was that guy. You know what I mean? You know, but you have to come to an understanding that, you know, I'm 50 years old now. You know,
Like, listen, yeah, that's what I was finna say. If you find out, if you go to your doctor and he tell you that you got anything at 50 years old, you can't do nothing but fight it.
yeah, you know, because I've had a healthy life my whole entire life. Look like Big Ken dropped out Easkeezy, so just me and you. But for the most part, I've had a pretty healthy life. This is my second surgery. My first surgery was only, you know, due to injury at work where I broke my a couple of fingers in my hand. I had to get repaired, you know. But other than that, man, you know, the Lord has definitely blessed me to live you know,
Yeah, I'm sorry
I'm
about
not gonna
that,
say a
y'all.
carefree life, but a healthy lifestyle. You know, and I want to continue that. You know, I just recently had another son that's getting ready to be 3 years old. You know, and I had this same conversation with my doctor. I went into the doctor and I told him about, you know, the parotid gland. I said, look, I want to get this checked out and see what's going on. You know, I just had a kid. I want to be able to see him graduate from high school and maybe have kids and get married. You know what I mean? So he said, yeah, let's get it checked
right.
out. You know, You know, and I did that. You know, I put it off for some years. You know, Keisha, she actually, you know, would say stuff to me about it. Go get it checked out and blah blah blah. You know, because I'm not gonna lie, I would be nervous about it. You know, I actually thought it probably was. I'm not gonna say cancer or something like that, but I didn't know. You know, so I said, you know what? Let me go get this checked out. Let me do the right thing. You know, because you know, we talk about this on the show all the time, and like I said, this had been going on before I started my show. You know, so you know, yeah, you know, and like I said, over the years, it would inflame and then it would go down. You know, but like I said, I spoke with a few people. I even spoke with a friend who actually had the actual same surgery on both sides. You know what I mean? And they advised me to get both of them taken out. You know what I mean? You know, so but yeah, you know, this is something that's common. This we all have these glands inside of us that can, you know, come to this situation that I had to face today. You know, but at the end of the day, man, it's all about being a man, you know, and all about trying to live for yourself and for your family.
That's right. So go
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
checked out and checked up.
Yep. So hopefully, between the three of us, we can save someone's life by them going to get checked up tomorrow or in the near future.
I
I don't
believe
know
so.
what happened, but the audio just went crazy. Sound like
I can
Mickey
hear
Mouse
you.
on here. But you got to go
Okay.
to the
Okay.
dentist too.
That
Yeah.
too.
There's a lot of people passing up on the dentist. Gotta go to the dentist as well as your primary doctor. You know,
Yeah,
you
because
got
that's
all
where it
kinds
started
of
from.
doctors.
Got to go see the dentist. E. That was definitely E. That was a good point. You got it. When it comes to your mouth and your jaw and stuff like that, the dentist is somebody you need to go see.
Yeah, and listen, the dentist is very important. I got a couple of procedures coming up from the dentist coming. I have to get a few
Still got to go
implants
see
from
the
me and stuff.
dentist.
But yes,
The dentist is the
definitely
last
make sure
person
you
you
see
want
your
to see.
dentist, because let me tell you this: your dentist probably will be the first person that will tell you if you have cancer. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Because they'll put this stuff in your mouth and it'll tell you if you have any type of cancerous cells or anything in your mouth or things like that. So, you know, Easy hit it on the nose. Always check in and make sure that you have an annual appointment with your dentist.
Yeah.
You know,
See, you
because like
just
I
reached
said,
me. I
a
gotta
lot of
go
people
see my
probably don't
dentist.
know this, but it's a mouth product that they can put in your mouth, and it'll come back. It'll tell them if you have cancer in your mouth or cancerous cells in your mouth and things like that. You know, but yeah, man, you know, at the end of the day, man, we have to stay on our health. We have to get checked, you know, not by our doctors, our dentists, you know, just everyone. You have to make sure that you have a clean bill of health. You know what I mean? Make sure that, you know, check your my charts. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't even know about my charts, or, you know, just making sure that you have a clean bill of health. You know, go see your doctors, go see your dentist. Schedule yourself for your colonoscopies, for your
Go see your foot doctor. Go see all the doctors.
listen,
Y'all
I got
niggas
a foot
got
doctor too
free
that I see.
Medicaid and free Medicaid and
Man,
health care,
listen.
and
You
don't even
know,
use
hey,
it.
let me say this to the people that don't know all of us. We all related. That's my brother and my first cousin, and we all is. I'm over 50. They'll be over 50. So it's important for anybody over 50 to make sure you got a doctor, because a lot of people over 50 don't even have doctors. So
Don't
Fact.
even have a doctor.
we reaching people out here.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, I
this a
know
good one
you're
today.
scared, and I speak from a scared man point of view, because to me, the number one killer is the number one silent killer is stress. And it seems like you'll
For
be
sure.
fine just going to the doctor and then he help you. But to get bad news, some people kill themselves quicker worrying about
You know what, E?
they
And this is
do
how I know. This is how you know
just
I,
the thing
that's
taking
a
them
good
out.
one.
Oh, I know
That's
we
a good
talking
one.
good because my audio keep messing up. I ain't nothing but the devil. But somebody going to get checked out tomorrow.
Somebody going to get checked out tomorrow, y'all. This is a good one here, D.
Yeah. Yep. So listen, keep preaching, preach Easkeezy.
Foot doctors, and that's funny.
Well,
You
look like
mentioned the
Easkeezy
foot.
went out, but yeah, you have to have all that. I even got
We all got to go see foot doctors, mouth doctors. It's important to go see all your doctors, and if you got insurance, there's no excuse.
Facts,
It's not.
Because I make sure that I go see my foot doctor, my dentist, and my primary doctor. Definitely make sure that you have a primary doctor.
Yeah.
You
gotta have a primary, because your primary is somebody that you see on the regular. When you go in there, he really studies you and he look at you up and down, whether you know it. And if it's his job to say, I want to test you for this.
Listen,
I want to
your
test you for
primary
that.
doctor should be one of your best friends. He's going to help you. He's going to help you live a longer life, if necessary.
When I was younger, I didn't understand it. And if he listening, a friend of mine's by the name of William, I can't think of his name right now, but he used to come over my house all the time and say, I just seen my doctor. I'm like, man, why is you going to the doctor so much? But he told me a long time ago, man, I just go up there to see him. And I didn't understand that.
Yeah.
If you got a personal relationship,
gaining rapport. Oh yeah.
if you got a personal relationship with your doctor, then you good, because he care about you. Now, if you just going on there and you don't see him like you should on a regular, he know that you don't care about yourself. Fact. If that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense. If you only seeing your doctor when some shit, well, I'm not gonna say
go wrong.
That's
when it go wrong.
I'm gonna say when some shit just going wrong. You're supposed to see your doctor at least once or twice a year.
I feel like he's supposed to get you together before it go all the way bad. At least you can get another 5 or 10 years out of life, because a person might say he in another 5 or 10 years, but another 5 or 10 years is a long time. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Another 10 or 20 years is a long time. Time is just time.
Yeah, and we gotta look at it. We're at the age where we're gonna start seeing a lot of our family and friends, pass away. You know what I mean?
I just lost a cousin. We just lost a cousin from
a week ago.
From pretty much his breathing, that he had asthma his whole life. So, like I said to a lot of people don't agree with me. I just believe that unforeseen occurrences happen all the time. Like you wouldn't have sit up and betted no money on nothing. Things just happen.
Yeah, and I want to listen, and I have not spoke about that, but I want to give my condolences again to my cousin Marcus Philip Lee and Tisha Lee. We just lost a cousin a few weeks ago, due to health problems. He had an asthma attack that led to some complications. But I want to give my condolences to those guys. Continue to be strong and prayerful, and get through the situation, because no one should be burying their child. So I just want to give, my condolences and my love to Philip and Tisha Lee. Yeah. So yeah, man. I don't want to hold you guys up too long. I just want to come on here. I went live earlier when I was at the hospital, and then I went live right before I went in. And I told you guys that I was going to come live, come back, and do a show. And talk to you guys. And I try to be a man of my word, and I did. I'm still in a lot of pain. I'm still sore, a little groggy from the anesthesia, but I'm here. I made it. I want to come in, and I thought this was important, and I want to bring you on, Big King, because like I said, you had the same procedure that I had. So what more than to speak with you about this situation, because you had the same procedure. You know what I mean? I remember this 30 years ago when you had this procedure. I remember this like it was yesterday.
Me and my brother is only 2 years apart. It ain't really a lot of difference to us other than size. We got the same blood, and obviously that's real, because literally we just had the same surgery, and it's crazy. I can't make this up. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna say it again. God is good because I don't have several surgeries. Go see about yourself. That's my word today. God got the last. God got the last say so in anything. When you take your last breath, just say what you got to say, and the man above will handle the rest. I'm gonna leave it on that note. But go see your primary.
For
Yep.
sure. And like I said, East Easy is back. I don't want to hold you guys up too long. I just want to, keep my word. Like I said, before I had surgery, and this morning I came on and I spoke with everybody and I told everybody what was going on. And I told everybody I was going to come after the surgery was over and come and do a show. I just want to keep my word. We brought my boy E Skeezy in with us today. We was blessed to hear from E Skeezy. I want to thank each and every one of you guys for coming on, giving you guys this testimony. E Skeezy, if you have anything else to add, go ahead and your piece and let everybody know what you got going on and where they can reach you.
Well, they can reach me now on the What Up Though show. Tune in. Freestyle Fridays. Don't forget to like, share. This one you really need to share. Share this with your uncle, with Unc. Share this one with your grandpa. Share this one with your loved ones so they could go get checked out. Like and subscribe, because I know a lot of y'all niggas, y'all ain't seen, the last doctor y'all seen was probably Pepper. And he ain't doing nothing for you.
Right, but raising your blood pressure,
Right, hurting your back.
Right.
And the only doctor most
again,
people listen to is Dre.
Right. Yeah. Again, Big Hen, give everybody your last words. Let them know what you got going on and where they can reach you if they have any questions for you.
Right now, you can reach me on the What Up Though show, but I am gonna have my own podcast soon, so look out for it. It's gonna be called Look Out For It. I got y'all. But
There you go.
other than that, go see your primary, and y'all be good out here. I love y'all. Stay safe.
There we go.
Take care.
And look, I want to thank I want to thank both of you guys for joining the show, coming on, giving me your testimonies, and just having a good conversation. Like E Skeezy said, we're going to be doing Freestyle Friday. We're going to have E Skeezy is back in the building. I'm going to be putting out a lot more content. I'm going to be off of work for a few weeks, so I'll be able to come on a little bit more earlier than normal. I do work a second shift job full time, so a lot of times you guys see me on when I get off of work. It's a little late, but it is what it is. But I will definitely be bringing more content to you guys now since I'm getting ready to be off for a little bit. So definitely stay in tune. I want to thank each and every one of you guys, and if you have not hit that subscribe button, make sure you hit that subscribe button because we over here growing. We're trying to build things, and we're accomplishing all our goals over here. So I don't have anything else to add. I just want to tell you guys, go get checked out, check your health, make sure you're in great health. And I don't have anything else to add. It's your boy Dame D, and I am out. Peace.
Peace.
Holla.